Hello and welcome back to Oracle Mystica. Today we have the April 2022 sort of outlook and some card pulls to see how your April will go. And just looking a little bit at the astrology of April before even looking at the cards, it's definitely got that fire in it with Aries, but I have, I've been doing astrology for like way before it was popular, like over 20 years. And so I definitely have some of my own lenses I use with astrology, own systems I overlay onto it. And one thing I track really heavily is how a sign is sitting in relation to where the north and south nodes of the moon are traveling. You don't need to know what that means, but it gives, like every year Aries season is going to feel a little different, or in April is going to feel a little bit different because those nodes of the moon are shifting and they're kind of taking each sign on a journey is how I see it. And this year, we enter April and we're in Aries season, and there's sort of like an Aquarian overlay on it, which is really igniting humanity, the populace, to liberate from any oppressions. It definitely sparks revolutions. We already are feeling, I'm recording this, just disclaimer, really early because I'm heading out of town for a couple of weeks. So this is like, what is today? It's like March 9th or something. So who knows what's going to go down before this reading comes, but just a little disclaimer that I might be missing a lot of news leading up to when you're getting this reading, but just seeing the stars, because before we enter April, we already enter Aries season, and a little bit before Aries season we enter that Aquarian overlay where people are just fed up. There tends to, wherever that Aquarian overlay sits in a year, there tends to be a lot of uprisings and movements, and with all of this Yemen and Ukrainian upheaval, people are pretty worked up, rightfully so. And so who knows, I don't know what's going to go down with those things before this reading, but with or without those, seeing in the stars, and I'm seeing in the cards for the piles I picked, that there's some liberation tones coming in here. So I think people are going to be pretty worked up. So I think it's sort of a month to just be ready to use your voice, to speak up for any injustices, any constructs that need sort of breaking out of. It can feel that Aquarian overlay can feel a little bit both bitter but also freeing, shocking, revolution. We have fire over mountain here. The only one, there's one group in this month that seems to be somehow benefiting. No judgment to that. Probably doesn't have anything to do with benefiting off of upheaval. It's just certain other things are maybe aligned in charts that having a little better month, maybe. I don't want to say better month, because these other energies can be incredibly productive and exciting, but a little bit more of a comfortable month. We'll see though. Who knows what other cards will come out. These top singular cards can be a little deceiving sometimes. But also there's some interesting planetary concoctions. Jupiter, Venus, and Neptune are all very close together throughout the month, and they're each going to have conjunctions with each other, which will be interesting to see. Those concoctions are a little bit more beautiful, so it's nice to see those energies coming out. But I think in general, Aries is kind of this individuation, self-centering, so I feel we're each sort of going to be breaking free of very personal constructs, personal oppressions, on top of just using that impulsive nature of Aries to kind of step into warrior mode to anything we feel impulsively drawn to be a warrior for. So really interesting month. By the very end of the month, we kind of enter into the Piscean overlay, which is a little bit more gentle and dissolving and exhausted. So I think maybe the last week of April could be a little bit more escapist feeling, kind of taming down some of the fire we feel early in April. Okay, so let's jump into the piles. I kind of have, I've been the last few months going with a very similar reading for these monthly ones, and I'm going to stick to that for now. I like how those have worked out for the time being. So it's kind of this, if you've watched March or February, it's kind of the same thing where I'm gonna, this card and another card are gonna kind of give the general tone for your month, and then we'll do some tarot cards for each of the cardinal directions of life, which is things relating to self, things relating to like home and family and self-care, so like depth, things related to relationships, and things related to career. So 4 segments where we're going to do like little mini tarot card pulls, just to get sort of the snapshot of the vibe. We're getting the general overlay. Oh my gosh, sorry, I needed to sneeze and it didn't come out. Sorry about that. The general overlay, and then little mini reads with tarot cards for these 4 categories of life. So that's sort of the flow we're going to see. So we've got 4 piles to choose from this beautiful Visionary I Ching deck, which is the I Ching hexagrams are used in these. So pile 1, we have clear quartz with the 14th hexagram of affluence, and this is fire above, sky below. And I'll actually, in the piles, get a little bit more into what these hexagrams mean. Pile 2 is the green calcite, and we've got the 56th hexagram, the wanderer, and this is fire above, mountain below. Third pile, we have the sunstone and the 51st hexagram of shock, thunder above, thunder below. Whoops. And then the 4th pile, we've got this little orange, I want to say it's agate. I don't know if I'm wrong. Let me know in the comments. It's just like a stone I've had forever, but I think it's a little orange agate type thing. We have the 49th hexagram of revolution, lake above, fire below. Okay, so let's do a little breathing exercise to open to your higher mind and invite a little bit of Spirit's guidance into you. So take a deep breath in and hold it at the top. Kind of close your eyes and focus into the space between your brows. And then out through your nose. And then one more breath in, same thing, hold it at the top. When you're ready, a big out through your mouth with it, kind of opening the crown chakra. Okay, so this is the time to hone in on the cards, the stones, the colors, whatever it is, the titles of the hexagrams, the elements, whatever catches you, wherever you're drawn. Don't get fixated on the titles, actually. Sometimes that can be misleading. And just feel which one's drawing you into it. And if you need more time with these to meditate and decide which one is for you, this is where you should pause. And we will jump right into pile 1, Affluence, with the clear crystal quartz. All right, I'll see you guys in the readings. Hello, pile 1. Welcome to your reading. This is our clear crystal quartz pile with the hexagram 14 of Affluence, which is fire above, sky below. I actually like using heaven instead of sky. I don't know why this book uses sky. Anyway, to each their own. This is a very fortuitous card, an overlay for your month. My intention for this card in the readings is to show kind of the environment that like a general theme. If you were to look back on April, a general theme you would say about the environment of your month. And this is showing an energy where there's been a turn in fortunes. So I don't know if you're coming out of some months where you've had not necessarily bad luck, but just sort of like life's not sort of feeling a light for you. And coming into a month where all of in your environment, things just like timing, people, circumstances just seem to be lining up. Like the stars are really on your side this month. Generally, of course, there's always bumps in the road no matter what. But generally, there seems to be certain things really aligning for you. And this has like, the more this card is saying, like the more you can kind of have a humility and a sense of gratitude and generosity, that's an attractor for this affluence element. And with that fire energy, these are both very masculine, fire in heaven. There is not necessarily a warning, but it's saying like those who can stay in that vibration of like humble and modest and grateful and generous will keep attracting this. But if you let certain successes or triumphs or beautiful alignments coming your way kind of feed your ego and getting a little bit arrogant, that will undermine this energy. So really stay with positivity, see everything as cup half full, always see the positive of the circumstances, and this will help you really stay plugged in to this really beautiful fortunate card. Okay, so we're also going to pick in terms of like the month overlay, I'll keep this out, kind of your attitude coming in the month. If you were to look back on April and say like I really had this vibration within me, we're going to pick an animal to kind of showcase maybe what this feels like, and so seeing how these two can work together best. Oh, beautiful. Something really artistic coming out of you, I think, or just elegant. You're finding, and I think this is why circumstances this month are sort of aligning for you, and you're really having an attractor energy, is like you've really finally, it's like there's been maybe a lot of information or a lot of feelings, maybe both, that have needed time to kind of process and assimilate and compose into some sort of clarity. And that is something that just takes time. Ancestrally, if there's been a lot of complexity on your plate, but something has processed and assimilated and brought like a new vision and a new clarity to you, and you sort of are really feeling your colors because you have some new way of seeing the world or your circumstances or an event or whatever it is that has like a real beauty and elegance to it, and you're really ready to share this, and it's feeling very attractive, and the stars are kind of just aligning with this moment for you too. So really beautiful overlay for the month. We'll see what your little 4 directions say, but if you're to look back on April, I think in general it will feel both how you felt inside, and your attitude, I think you're going to look back on and feel great about, and the circumstances, events, environment around you are all, it's like a very aligned, beautiful, graceful energy. I think one thing with the peacock, it is a show off, and there was sort of that warning-ish thing about arrogance with this card. So I think that would be like the only thing to keep in check is like, yes, shake your tail feathers, feel your grace and beauty, welcome in all the things, but continue to feel gratitude for that and a generosity out of that, and humbled by how much fortune spirit is shining on you at the moment. And even if you're in difficult circumstances, you know, if you're currently, I mean, you're not going to be watching this if you're currently migrating somewhere, I mean, who knows, but like maybe there's some really nice alignments where you've gotten the right help and the right people at the right time to kind of put you into safer circumstances or something like that, you know? So it can be a spectrum of like this really being a wealth attractor to this really just being beautiful circumstances arriving right when you need them with help. So beautiful, beautiful stuff. So no matter your circumstances, whether those are difficult or positive, I think this is saying to keep a positive attitude and some optimism within you. Okay, so we're going to start looking into the 4, what I call the cardinal directions of life, which are your sense of self. So this is what you need in order to do anything else in these other directions. You need to know your center, where your passions are, where your impulses are, your sense of sort of like identity, your desires, and also just like a clarity. You know, this area can help you find a certain clarity for life and direction in general. And it's sort of the foundation that everything else builds upon. Okay, let's see what we've got going on here. Okay. Lover is beautiful. Okay. So, initially there is something going on here. When I was reading these cards, and I don't think it's for everyone, but I did get a vibe that some of you have been sort of walking away from certain foundations that have been a bit rocky, whether that's been your environmental circumstance, projects you've been on, relationships you've been in, whatever it is, there's something, you're walking away from something that hasn't been aligned with your passion, and you're finding the courage to follow soul, to follow kind of something deeper within and finding a different alignment. And I love that the Knight of Wands is the second card in. I feel like this is where you're coming from, and I feel like this is what April is bringing, is like you finding a focus, this Knight of Wands, and charging forward. This may be whatever you've walked away from, whatever you're walking towards is more of a creative spark that's really aligned and really giving you a focus and a target of expansion, of movement, in how your personal center, how your passion feels free to roam. There's like a new freedom coming in, but with that freedom, you're finding a new focus, a new aim, a new target that really feels aligned to who you are in yourself. That's really, really expansive and beautiful. And there is, I think, a little bit of a push-pull this month in terms of like really um, being okay to explore a bit about yourself, about your identity. Something's really shifting with this. You know, you've walked away from something, you have sort of a new aim, but these have both been somewhat impulsive things. And so in that shift, in that turmoil of like transitioning from one way of feeling, sort of not dead inside, but just like your fire being really low, and so finally knowing it's time to walk away from something, to having that new fire kind of spark, that it's, you know, it can be a sort of jarring thing. And in the process, there's something about your identity that some questions are coming up. And I think it's a month for you to just explore, to be flirtatious and curious with life, and not be too quick to try and understand your identity. I think because so much is changing, you need time to just sort of try certain things on. You know, it's like going to a store that has all sorts of beautiful clothing items, but in like a lot of different varieties and colors and genres of styles, and you kind of like it all is what I'm feeling. So you're not really sure where to start. And I say, just start, just try things on. Don't commit to anything. Just because you try something on at a store doesn't mean you have to purchase it, you know? So there's something about your identity where you're, you know, trying on different masks, trying on different outfits, because I really feel like something in your personal circumstance that really connects to your personal center and your passion is shifting so dramatically, and you just need to give it time to kind of figure out who you are in this different unfolding thing or place or whatever it is, you know, different, whether it's a different job or you've moved or new friends have come in, a new relationship, whatever it is. I feel like this is something we'll maybe figure out in the other areas, that shift, but it's really affecting your sense of self. And just give yourself time to kind of just feel the impulsive beauty, the fire that is reigniting in you. That's the only thing you should like really be dedicated to staying focused with, who you are in this new territory. Let it be flexible right now. Have fun with it. Try on different ways of being. Okay, let's get a few confirmation cards about this. These are sort of these animal tarot. I can't remember the exact name. Oh, it's right here. It is just animal tarot. Okay. That would be kind of fun for Aries. It's a little animalistic. Okay, Judgment upside down. Yeah, something's ended. Some cycle has ended. A judgment's been made for good or bad. But either way, whatever you feel about that judgment, oh, we need to move this little jasmine up. However you feel about whatever judgment's been made, whatever kind of ending has happened, however you feel about that, whatever you think or however you feel about it, it's for the better. I think you're the one that's walked, I mean, this Eight of Cups is saying you're the one that's made the judgment and walked away, which doesn't mean you can't still have difficult feelings about that. But it is, these cards are indicating that it's really for the best, and it's allowing you to find a much more bright, aligned, exciting path that really connects to your personal fire of self. Five of Swords, yeah, you're ready to fight for what you want. You're really feeling the fires. This Five of Swords kind of connects to some Leo energy. Aquarian energy. Yeah, it's let's see. This Knight of Wands, this new focus, this new fire and aim, there's definitely other people involved here. I don't know if you feel responsible for others or you're coming into a new type of collaboration. But there's others. I'm going to get the other card out. I need to kind of think about or like feel into it. See what settles into my body about this message. I like the stingray showing up, kind of needing a backbone. Yeah. Two of Wands. Oh, very beautiful. You are, I think you feel like really excited about feeling a new sense of identity coming through. And this is really, to me, really exploring your yin half and your yang half and finding ways where they merge and meet in the middle and alchemize into like a unit. But there's a new, that's what I was sensing, like there's a new path, a new threshold you've crossed, and it's bringing up this energy, and I think you just need to have fun with it. Yeah, it's really quite exciting. I think with this card, what I'm feeling is that you have support or followers or friends who have got your back in whatever's happening, community supporting you. I don't know, whatever it is, there's support. I like this like feeling of it being underneath the Knight of Wands, kind of the foundation of it. Underneath, supporting your ability to find this new freedom and expansion and target and threshold is community, friends, an industry, humanity in general. I don't know, but there's a group or some sort of network or a group or something that's really propping you up. And so I think, going back to this Affluence card, it's like, be sure to show your gratitude for this, to acknowledge who's helped you forward, who's, find your own way of paying it forward, even if it's a much smaller gesture or a bigger gesture, whatever it is, like, be grateful outwardly to whatever is propping you up and pay it forward a little, and just like, yeah, really beautiful new threshold that you're crossing, and you're really discovering new things about yourself, and I think just a time to have fun with that. Beautiful. Okay, so sense of self, a huge adjustment. Big month, I think. Okay, so now we're going to look at the category of home and family, which could also be like self-care and things that give you a sense of depth and commitment to maturing things in your life. Like, what are you maturing? What are your foundations? What's your home life like? Your family life like? We'll see what pops up, because maybe it's not all of the above. Okay, nice. That's really beautiful. Wow, a lot of Capricornian energy in this. Another Judgment. You guys, something is really, that's huge that this came out twice. That Judgment, relating that, making that connection, something in your home is shifting. That's really affecting your sense of self, I think. I really felt that when I was talking about these two cards. I think you're moving-ish something. Even if it's not moving home, something about your home is shifting. Anyway, that's a really beautiful Judgment card. There's like a moth in there, and a dove, and beautiful flowers. Anyway, sorry, that just really got me. I love moths. So anyway, yeah, you have all of this Capricornian energy going on. You're trying to balance something, but you're feeling a lot of, there could be a lot of responsibility in terms of taking on a leadership role and nurturing in your household, or just self-care, like really feeling a certain command and duty to yourself to take care of yourself, or a responsibility in taking care of others that you're responsible for. And you're balancing a lot. You're juggling a lot here, but you have the solidity, you have the capability. I just want you to know that whatever pressures you may feel, you are fully capable of anything coming your way this month that you're going to have to be responsible for in tending to and nurturing and juggling in the kind of home, family, self-care, nurturance realm. And I think that this is all coming about because of this shift. It just, more of you is required because things are shifting. Yeah, this makes me feel like you're responsible for, like, I don't know if you have kids, that this is a certain shift is, disrupting certain things. And so you're just like having to give a little bit more of yourself. But you're very practical, you're very focused, you're very capable and able to see the solid opportunities, the solid people. Like, you're a really good judge of practical, the practical needs. You're a really good judge of what's going to create the best and most solid alignments and foundations for you and your family, or the people you're responsible for. So just like super trust yourself. I think you're balancing a lot here, but you've got it, and you just need to know that. But yeah, something big is changing in the foundations of your life. Could even be like a soul journey if it's not as dramatic as like a move, or something shifting in your home, like a spouse leaving or something. I don't feel like that's what it is because of these more positive things, unless that feels really positive. Or someone in your household, if you've had like a boarder that's been really disruptive, maybe they're leaving. I don't know, but something's shifting either within your home, or a move of home, or a really deep soul journey going on, where there's just like a lot of pressure to really figure out what it is you want to nurture and mature in life. But a judgment is coming down, and as we saw in that first pile, I think it was your own judgment, your own ultimate, maybe circumstances were pressing, but ultimately your choice to make some kind of shift. So yeah, big things on your plate. Very interesting. Okay, let's see some confirmation cards. Knight of Pentacles and Queen of Pentacles. Yeah, you're expanding. Super worker bee energy too. Page of Cups. That's beautiful. That's really fresh, vital energy here. Two pages. I love that for what I've already seen. This is showing that underneath some of these more serious things that feel up here, even though there's just like, there is a lot of, and just looking at the images of these cards, there is a lot of fertility coming through. We've got a full moon, we've got blossoming flowers, the dove, we've got the peacock feathers in these. So this could be saying, you know, tying back into the peacock, the overlay, you know, something's really assimilated in you and you have like a very clear sight about something here. I think you feel a strong command, definitely. And you've got energy, supportive energy here. You're putting things in motion. You're kind of being a queen general. Like, you're directing the knighthood. So in a sense, there are people around you that know that you have a vision and they want in and they're willing to be your worker bees. You're the queen bee. So really fortunate circumstances to create the foundations in your life. A lot of expansive growth energy here, and with 2 pages showing up, just a lot of new fresh energy that can be looked at as glass half full, leading to a full glass. Because the page, it's like your imagination is really coming to life here, and pretty much whatever you imagine, you can kind of make it happen. So that's really exciting. And then the Page of Swords, a lot of new ideas coming through, fresh creative ideas, flexible ideas, dynamic ideas. There's just like a lot of dynamic energy here. So even though there might be some pressure, I think it's exciting, and I think you know you're capable and you're just like ready to step into that role of like, it is time for this all to change and let's do it. Type of thing. Okay, really cool. I like where that went. Okay, so now let's look at relationships. And in the context that I use, this can be love relationships. It can be any close one-on-one relationships, sort of the harmonies, how you're attuning with life. So it doesn't even have to be people. It can be your aesthetic, how you're, like how you're harmonizing, attuning. And it can also be advocates in your life, agents, attorneys. Ooh, that just wanted another Page of Cups. You guys, something really fresh is coming out of you guys right now. King of Pentacles. So we had the Queen of Pentacles in the last one, and now we have King of Pentacles, and both had Page of Cups. I think you have a partner that's just as dynamic as you, or if not a partner, someone that you have a close relationship with that has more of a managerial, established kind of energy. And then we have 8 of Swords. In relationships, there's something, you know, whether this is you or someone else, there is something very serious and established and focused going on. And there is a lot of new heart energy, love energy that feels teenagey in a way. You know, we did see the Lovers, which to me is sort of a teenagey card, back in the, I think, the self house or category. That teenagey energy, you know, you could be having some vibes with, I kind of want to separate these in a way. Like there's some vibes going on with somebody that feels very established, that whether this is a love interest or just a relationship in general. There's a lot of people energy here though. So this feels, you know, more than this being about like aesthetic or attuning and harmonizing environments. This feels like very personal energy. So there's someone you're really vibing with that you have a lot of love for. But you're finding it, even though there's a lot of feels positively going on here, there's some communication issues. I don't know if there's something about like not being able to reach this person easily, or having a hard time reaching them, or having a hard time expressing what's inside of you, or there's a sense that like you don't know what to, like you're feeling so much. It's like, this isn't necessarily bad to me. I think you're feeling so much that you're paralyzed. And the feelings are good, but just because there's so many things about it, it's like you don't know where to start with it, or something like that. You don't know how to articulate what to do with the things you're feeling, because there's just a lot there. And to me, this is like slimming down your what do I want to say? It's like getting more focused and a little lighter. I think you have some like really big expectations going on here, and I think you just need to simplify and find like what's the most simple thing you want to express to or about this relationship or about your heart. Like really simplify it. I think you're getting too big for your britches here, and it's paralyzing you is what I'm feeling. Yeah, because there is something really beautiful here. You just need to know how to harness it, and it's by becoming more simple about expectations, and hence your ability to express something or direct something about this. Okay, let's get some clarification cards and see if that illuminates anything. The Devil, okay. You have had a lot of, I don't know if there's a lot of Capricorns in here, or people going through kind of Capricorn transits, or a lot of connections to Capricorns, but yeah. And then we've got fours. Yeah, the earth and the stability, like it's earth in general. There's been a lot of earth. Okay, so I almost want to start over here. This was sort of what caught me first, is like you really need to share. You need to open your heart, get more into your feelings. There's something that you're really trying to grasp or hold on to about whatever this symbolizes to you, whether it's a love relationship, just someone important in your life, or an advocate of sorts. There's something, it's like you're trying to control things about this a little bit too much, and hold like you're constricted around this, so you're unable to express your ideas. But this feeling of like really needing to hold on to certain values or ideas, these things are going to, you need to find a way to open up a bit and share your thoughts and share the practicalities of your life. And if that means simplifying, so be it. But like if you don't, the things you're kind of holding tight and not sharing, it's like fruit. And if you just sit on fruit, it's going to rot. And so you may think you have some sort of treasure that is yours and you're hesitant to share, even though you feel a lot. It's just gonna like undermine things somehow. So this to me is urging you to kind of simplify, lighten up, and open up more. And there's like a deep meditative thing going on here too. I don't know if this person, you don't know how they feel maybe, even though there's so much love here, like new, fresh feelings. There's something about them that you're reading as closed off. I think you need to make the first move, say the first things, to kind of get some energy flowing that's there. It's just like there's some blocks or something. And Devil, again, it's like these two can almost mirror each other. You're both, whoever this represents to you, I almost want to actually put the Page of Cups here because I feel like this is someone in your life and this is you, and you're both, you're both having some attachment issues, like really struggling to share properly. I shouldn't say properly, but you're just struggling to share for some reason. Actually, this was under the page, but either way, that's still how I feel. And I think you take it how you feel resonant. There's either something that you're just needing to process longer, even though there's this huge, either creative or love connection, whatever this means to you. Maybe it's more of a creative connection, maybe it's a love connection, but there's a lot of youthful, emotional, creative energy here between you guys. But there's something you're both sides of this thing are just like holding really tightly. And so, whatever resonates with you, whether this is something you're just needing to process, so you're okay with this taking some time, or if you're really feeling this trap, I feel like this is most of you, is that like you're really looking for some way to open up to each other and kind of clear these blocks and really merge more, and share more, become more intimate somehow. And I think it's by simplifying and being daring enough to be the first one or the bigger one, whatever resonates with you, of like being vulnerable and opening up and sharing where you're at and how you feel and what you want. And I think the floodgates will open because it's there. There's just like some fears, and it's just, I think if you can open up and simplify sort of expectations, and maybe that's the step to opening up is just like really starting in a simple place. I think something really beautiful is about to blossom here. You just need to have a little bit of courage. Okay. Let's move to sort of career, standing in the world, contribution to the world, all that good stuff. This one wanted to come out. Knight of Pentacles. Yeah, this group one, you guys are very earthy. Four of Swords. And Ace of Swords. That's exciting. Okay. Hold on 1 minute. Yeah, okay. Relationship wise, so many people have come out in this reading so far, like in the royalty suits, which equates to just like people energy. So each one of these 4 areas has had a lot of people energy. So I think you're going to be interacting a lot with others. In terms of career or aspirations or contribution to the world, position in the world, you are really cultivating. We already had a Knight of Pentacles actually in the home sector. So it's like mirroring here. I think to me that's relating that you have some domestic or self-care or nurturance duty in the world this month, responsibilities on your shoulders this month. If we tie those 2 together, that's just like mirroring that you're actually taking on an outer world. And I felt like you were like responsible for people. I just wasn't sure if it was like immediate family or more, and this feels like more like in the world, whether it's the public or some group of people, like you're really feeling a duty to and a responsibility to people, to create and expand productive foundations, to make spaces and land and resources to help figure out how to provide resources for some people. That's what it's feeling like. You know, you can put your own spin on that however you want, but there's something about feeling practically, materially, resourcefully responsible to people, for people in some capacity this month. And I think you're starting out the month with some rest underneath of you, some recovery from something that's giving you mentally, like some mental decompression, like you're assimilating. This peacock is like initially in the month, maybe you're still assimilating, but you're really coming into your peacockness. This Ace of Swords feels maybe aligned to the peacock, like at some point, whether it's a week into the month or midpoint in the month, but at some point, I would say no later than mid-month, it's like some mental processing has assimilated, and you have sort of a new clarity of direction, idea mentally of what to do and where to go, and how to cut a path for whatever this is about to you. The Knight of Pentacles, the sort of feeling responsible for expanding and conquering some resources for people you're championing or responsible for. King of Swords. Eight of Swords again, this time upside down. Ace of Cups upside down. Okay. Yeah, I think this could play out 2 ways. Either you're part of a chain of command and you're getting some really solid direction and you're kind of the person on the ground enacting these types of orders, or someone like this has disappeared and you've had to really step up into some kind of role that's like needed to kind of expand and explore. And this assimilation, this processing of information going on, this recovery of sort of mental recuperation. There were things that, yeah, you're just like some really big mental ideas and events mentally were making you feel a bit paralyzed and not knowing how to move forward. And that processing is here is like, yeah, you will by mid-month have processed whatever this big thing is that's had you paralyzed, which could relate back to the relationships. Like maybe some event happened that's really created some paralysis, but by mid-month you're kind of finding your assimilation and your way forward, like the peacock, and stepping into a whole new, this again, like I think it was the self house and the home house of where there were these like judgments and new thresholds. This again is that same kind of energy. It's like a new threshold is being crossed by the end of April. And it may mean, in terms of your standing in the world, leaving behind something that you did really love, not in terms of like personal passion or home security or relationships, but like who you were in the world. Something about that is, being left behind, but at the same time, the threshold you're crossing holds a whole new vibration for you and a whole new set of opportunities. So it's totally acceptable to have multiple feelings and hold both of them, to grieve something that you didn't necessarily want to let go of or that you did love, while feeling excited about new potentials. Like, yeah, it's complicated. I think that's why the peacock has come up for you guys, is there's a lot to process, I think, this month. And the peacock is a guide coming through for you because it knows how to assimilate with depth and elegance. And it's able to, take all this stuff, process it, assimilate it, and move forward with elegance. So it's helping you to move forward into whatever is ahead of you with a certain elegance. So beautiful reading, you guys. This is where I'm going to leave you. If you enjoyed this reading, I always feel gratitude when there's a thumbs up, or in the comments if you talk about what was interesting, and definitely subscribe if you are not already subscribed to get more of my readings. All right, see you guys in another reading. Hello, pile 2. If this is you guys, you picked the Wanderer and the green Calcite. Put your stone up here. Okay, so to start off this reading, this card, my intention for this card is to kind of, if you were to look back at April, would be sort of the general theme you would pull out and say, yeah, April felt like this, the environment of it. So circumstances, environments, events, those, so it's something about your environment in April is connected to this card, the Wanderer. And this card has a lot to do with, like, I think you guys are going to be in either like on the road a lot, moving around a lot, kind of away from home, or in circumstances that are, even if it's not being away from home, it might be like starting a new job or getting new clients or something, connecting to a different community, something where you're out of your comfort zone per se. And this can be both exciting and destabilizing. These kinds of scenarios allow you to move forward without the baggage or history that you carry, but also without the maybe credibility you carry. And so there's always this, a little bit of this caution going into this energy of like, really needs to be like needing to be discerning and watchful around who's friend or foe, who's ally or opportunist type of thing. So, even though there's a lot of discovery, a lot of different doors and energies opening to you. It does come with certain challenges, whether those feel exciting to you or not, about just forging a very new kind of path, or being on a different path that you just have no familiarity with, and that can bring so much amazing discovery to really open your eyes to see new ways, but also a feeling of like really feeling out of your depths at moments and really not knowing who or what is on your side or which direction to go. So just a lot. It's a lot, both exciting, but definitely like a need for some caution. Okay, and then we're going to pick an animal card to show sort of like if you were to look back at April and be like, this was my attitude in the month. And so seeing how these two things align, or how you could align them, how they're likely to align and how you could align them. Tiger, yeah, you're being, you're very cautious. You're really sort of like seeing with, you know, this, in this deck, at least the tiger really relates to lunar energy, being up in the middle of the night, stalking things, being watchful, but really being in touch with sort of feminine intuition too. So like really trusting your intuition, different senses. I think this is a beautiful animal energy to take you as a guide for you to take you into this sort of environment, is really blessing you and bringing in this energy of seeing the unseen and being able to see with different senses and feel with different senses, and being both regal and ferocious, but discerning. And yeah, the big cat energy in general, not just the night aspect with the tiger, but the big cat energy is like, you do have a regal feel around you, even though you're kind of, definitely, I think this is showcasing that you're a little bit in territories where you're going to have to tune into different senses and find your way forward with caution and discernment, but knowing your nobility and knowing your strength and knowing your capabilities. So interesting, kind of very intriguing to me, actually. Okay, let's see. We're going to go into the cardinal directions of life and do a little bit of tarot for the four corners, which are, to me, my view with this is your sense of self, kind of the depth of your life, the foundation, so home, family, self-care, what you're wanting to mature, and then relationships, and then career. So starting with a sense of self, this is really about connecting into your personal passions, what lights you up, finding your personal center, your direction, your sense of identity, whatever it is that sort of drives you forward and individuates you as who you are in the world, and the foundation of the direction that will ultimately affect all of the other. Oh, we've got both coming out now. Yeah, the High Priestess coming out totally matches to me this tiger energy of like really really feeling alive and leaning into intuition. And I think it's because you know, there's a lot on your plate, there's a lot going on, there's a lot of movement and ideas and commerce and people, and things are very shifty with this 10 of Wands to me. But you're really like, there's something strenuous at the same time. You're holding a lot of responsibility, a lot of needing to feel excellent in things that are big and unfamiliar, like, you know, we talked about here already. But there are what I'm seeing here is there are very, very helpful allies around, willing to help you, willing to provide resources, foundations, assistance in whatever this big thing is that you are carrying. And you do just really need to trust your intuition to know which ones feel in your body, that feel aligned and like they don't have weird strings attached, or that they're helping for the right reasons. Because I think a lot of people are willing to help, but you need to determine which ones are the right ones, and that might mean turning down some people. So there's something about these cards to me. I think there's going to be some big outer world things happening and in your life this month, and this is calling on your sense of self to trust you. Ultimately, you may have a lot of chatter of other people, of, you know, in your relationships, in your home, in your profession, your career, a lot of potentially gossip, potentially new people whispering in your ear, whatever it is. Ultimately, it's you. You need to fill into your intuition to know how to navigate all of this. So this is what's showing up in your sense of self, is that like you really need to trust your intuitive powers, and that will lead you forward into whatever scenarios are coming up in your life. Okay, let's get some confirmation cards before we move on to home and family. Oh wow, King of Wands, Justice, and the Chariot. Movement. Yeah, there's a lot of powerful things going on around you. There's a lot of equalizing happening around you. There's this Chariot is definitely connected to lunar energy as well, as like the home of the soul, and being able to move the soul from the depths to the heights, and being able to navigate forward and really push forward in your life because you're so aligned to your depth. So this is like another confirmation coming through that like you do have the soul of a leader, that big cat energy. But right now you're needing to lead through intuitive power. And by doing that, you will find the balances you need. You will find the right alignments, the right people to receive and accept offers from. Yeah, so huge message about really, really staying plugged into your intuition above any other chatter or advice. Okay, moving on to home, family, soulfulness, self-care, just anything about the foundations of your life where you're working to kind of mature things. Okay, Three of Swords, Emperor, and the Fool. Whoa, huge. Both Emperor and the Fool are Aries energy. So something really new is happening here, which doesn't surprise me with what came up, what I was feeling with the Wanderer and the Tiger. Like, I do think that you are, even if it's like you're just going on like a sabbatical or overseas for a time, or if you're like actually moving, something totally different is a new threshold, a new feeling around home and depth and soul and family. Something majorly is changing here. And I kind of want to say it wasn't something that was necessarily, I don't want to say it wasn't your choice, but there was some difficult things around this. Something didn't work. Something felt Three of Swords, it can, I tend to relate this to relationships. So that might be specifically for some people. There may be a divorce here or a breakup that's kind of really shaken up home, created a move. If it's not that, and I'm not saying that it has to be, I think that's for a few specific people out here. There's just something around home that didn't go the way you wanted it to go that might feel unfair. But the nice thing about the Three of Swords is you always come out of certain heartbreak with it, with like a new wisdom and a new cautiousness about the plans that you enact, like what you do next will be built upon a much wiser foundation, and it will not be a replica. I think that's a big message to put forward here, is like whatever you're stepping into, this new order, this new threshold, this new path, it will not turn out the same way. It will not have the same fate. It will not have the same energy. You are building on much wiser foundations, and just stay with that intuition again, but like creating order, being open-minded, open-hearted to this new thing. It's very fertile things coming through with this. So yeah, let's see what the confirmation cards say. Emperor again. Yeah, I really feel like a lot of you are moving. And if you're not, it's like you're renovating your home, you're reordering, you're doing a huge spring clean, something, or maybe your neighborhood is really shifting, like a lot of new people moving in, or new family members coming or going, whatever it is. There's like a very new order establishing itself. Eight of Pentacles. It could be work taking you somewhere else. And Seven of Pentacles. Let's see. Yeah, I think you've laid a lot of, like, invested in a lot of different things around soul, around family, around home. And they're finally blossoming, and you're really developing a skill. There's something about, yeah, some investing of energy and a skill developed around how you cultivate a nurturing environment that is leading you away from anything that's not aligned with your heart and towards things that are very fertile and very organized around you in a much more fortuitous way. So even though there could be feelings of heartbreak or disappointment, like such beautiful things to come, and you're finally reaping some of the rewards of a lot of effort put in, anywhere from just like really feeling aligned to your soul to completely, you know, like moving overseas or something, like anywhere in between there too. But yeah, really big energy here. But massively, that we got two Emperors and the Fool, like hugely new energy. Yeah, like you're really, you know, and this was intuition territory. So again, that message of like, really stay plugged into your intuition, because that's communication from your soul about what's aligned to your depths. So you need to honor that, even if it feels illogical or something. Okay, let's look at relationships, or the relationship direction, which can be anything from love relationships, any close one-on-one relationship. It can be advocates like an attorney or a real estate agent. Or it can be as simple as like you're harmonizing, attuning energy, so aesthetics, design, your sense of relationship. What is going on in March for pile 2? Beautiful. 6 of Cups, 4 of Wands, Death. Okay. So something's transforming. This could either be the point of the Death card here, this can either be like really doing some psychological work in your relationships to clear out some blocks, clear some errors, and get sort of new life moving in it, to needing to leave certain relationships behind because they just were like honestly vampiric in nature, like draining you. So, you know, this doesn't mean an end to a relationship. It can be revamping it through hard work, clearing some blocks, or it can be you clearing blocks in your life by leaving relationships. Either way. But the point of it is you're needing to reconnect to something about the way you viewed relationships when you were younger, or clearing out blocks about what was modeled to you in relationships that weren't healthy. It could, you know, whatever resonates to you. It's like either like reconnecting with something that got lost about the beauty of relationships, or dealing with your traumatic modeling of relationships. But there's something about looking back at past memories to either heal or reconnect with. So huge process going on here, but there is so much support and opportunity. And honestly, the Four of Wands can be a twin flame card. So I'm not, for whatever reason, I'm not getting the sense that maybe for some of you, I'm not getting the sense that a twin flame is arriving, or that you're with one and kind of revamping yourself. I think you're laying the foundations for this. You're laying the foundations to be able to find twin flame energy or restore twin flame energy in a relationship. But it's all, whatever's being done is being done to, and it all requires a lot of intuition and insight, and seeing the unseen, and being brave to face darknesses, shadow work. But this Four of Wands to me is saying that this is all being done in order to like really create a solid foundation about the way you want to move forward with others in your life, the way you want to celebrate with life with others, the way you want to impulsively feel connected in life. Yeah. Okay, let's get some confirmation. Oh my gosh, another Fool. Honestly, these initial cards aren't joking around. Like, you really are doing something big and new, showing up in relationships too. Yeah, doing this work with memories, with past understanding of relationships, whether reconnecting to positive things there or healing negative things there, it's really putting you into some very fresh and fertile new energy going forward. So definitely do the hard work this month of like facing memories, facing shadows, facing leaks and clogs, and really how relationships are affecting the flow of your life force. Because doing that work is laying the foundation for something so fertile and new and exciting. And bringing in the twin flame, absolutely. You know, I mean, maybe by the end of the month, this is either coming in or being restored, or it's laying this or it's this, to me, for some reason, I just feel like it's saying like, you're doing the work to invite this in and it's coming, but you need to, for some of you, that person may be here and you're just clearing out some baggage that you've needed to deal with. But I think for a lot of you, it's like a new love, laying the grounds for this new love to enter. Yeah, oh my gosh, we've got, I didn't even see this, the Tower under Death. Yeah, this is a complete like overhaul of relationships. And I'm not saying that you have to leave who you're with. So it's either a completely new thing is coming in, or if you are with someone, it's like allowing all the baggage, all the blocks, all of the tensions, all of the everything about what you've built together with someone just dissolve, and completely setting foot on a new way of being together. And sometimes a move can do that. We all tend to have like different things brought out of us in different places, and maybe this is about a move that's like shaking up a relationship, if you're in one, that's bringing out new aspects of self that are much healthier for your union. I think it's the minority here that have that scenario. I think for the majority of you, it's like, yeah, some big shifts coming in, some shadow work, some psychological work, and like it's really, laying foundations for really, really like literal twin flame energy to come in. Okay, last one. Let's look at standing in the world. So where are your worldly responsibilities, which could be career, doesn't have to be, but like where are you contributing? What are your duties? What's on your shoulders right now? In April, Hierophant, Empress, wow, okay, and Three of Pentacles. Okay, so yeah, you have a deep wisdom. I like thinking of Hierophant with the tiger in mind. I think you have a lot of depth and wisdom, and people are really going to want to be looking to you this month. I think you're going to have a lot to offer this month for whatever reason. And it's bringing a new sense of possibility, of fertility, of creativity out of you. This sort of being reflected back to by the world that you are needed. It's really bringing something alive in you, and something's organizing sort of this like general energy of like chains of command around something formal, some sort of formal wisdoms or training that you have. It's like, yeah, new things are coming out of this, and it's organizing very rapidly and getting the support and the congealing of the right alignments to get things moving and get things flowing, especially materially, not just for yourself, but for everyone involved. Which this card, I didn't say had something to do with that, like the oh no, sorry, never mind, that was a different card. But anyway, sorry about that. Yeah, really fertile movement energy coming in here, and people really leaning into I want to say there's something about this specific Hierophant that looks tigerish to me, a little bit like cautious and lunar-ish. That it's like you have some sort of formal understanding about using intuition in the world. It's really being recognized right now and put into creative births that are finding order really quickly and support really quickly. Yeah, okay, yeah, it's really big. Five of Cups, Nine of Swords, okay, yeah. I think I'll take the top one, Ace of Wands. Yeah, this is definitely like harkening back to Tiger and the Wanderer. Um, I think you've left either a job or a profession or a part of your journey right now that these environment and attitude cards have indicated is maybe central. That was my initial thought, is like maybe work has, uh, whether by choice or not by choice, been the thing that was the initiator of kind of moving or pushing into a whole new path. And I think there's been some disappointments in the past and honestly, some behind the scene shit that was maybe not on the up and up that really damaged things. And maybe that's why there's like this deep cautiousness with the Tiger. But yeah, some disappointment underlying all of this, and some frankly unfair maneuverings by others. But the silver lining here is that a whole new opportunity, and that's what this feels like to me. It's just like a new fertility and a new opportunity. Don't be disappointed by what you lost, because something so much better is coming in. Really beautiful. So leave that baggage at the door. Leave those people. You have the knowing. I don't remember which pile it was, but it was that thing of like, you're not going to end up in the same scenario. You're not going to rebuild the same scenario. And I feel this here. Like, don't worry. You've learned from this stuff, these disappointments, these almost like backstabbing energies that have created a lot of anxiety. Like, you've learned from them and you're never going to repeat that. You have the wisdom to align because you're really plugging into your intuition and knowing that like that's such an undervalued tool that we have to know the right paths when things are not super clear. We can feel it in our bodies, in our guts. And you're so plugged into this, and so you're choosing the right opportunities, and these right opportunities are allowing you to shine the way that you deserve to shine, and bringing fertile energy and all the support you need for this to generate income for many people. So you go. All right, this is where I'm going to leave you guys. Beautiful. I mean, beautiful and interesting, and yeah, like definitely heavy on the intuition piece in April, but like some big, huge new openings and opportunities. So it's just like using your intuition and discernment and caution to like make sure you align all of this with your depths, your soul, and your intuitive command that you're starting to trust more, and it will all you'll find the allies versus the the imposters, and you'll find the friends instead of the foes if you really keep tight to your Tiger energy, because you are, I think, entering very different territory. All right, so if you like this reading, it connected with you, I always love a thumbs up. Of course, I love it if you're subscribed so you get more of my readings, and if something really connected with you, I always love to read the comments and see, because there's so many variety of people with these group ones, to see how this manifests for, how pile 2 manifests for 10 different people in such different ways. That's always fun to kind of see that kind of stuff. So, all right, I will see you in another reading. Thanks, guys. Hello, pile 3. If this is you guys, you picked the Sunstone and the 51st hexagram of shock, thunder above and thunder below. So this is a really interesting card. Before I dive into its meaning, my purpose for this card in the reading is sort of, if you were to look back at April, and pull out a theme of what the environment felt like. So literal environment, events, circumstances, sort of things that aren't fully in your control. Like, what did life bring into your sphere this month? So getting this card shock definitely is indicating that something completely unexpected may arise that sort of imprints your theme of April with a big kind of a shift in a way. More than that, this like heightened perception that comes out of you. So if you think about, if you were on a hike or something and all of a sudden lightning strikes really close to you, and it's like this huge fear, you kind of have to face that fear and let your instincts kick in, and your perceptions being heightened and hyper aware. So you may feel like heightened perception, hyper awareness this month because something's unexpected kind of shaken you, whether that's very personal or more something universal happens that for you it really I think that in the state of the world right now can also be a valid meaning for this card. Just for some of you this will be a very personal thing, and for some of you, you may be massive empaths, and so things going on in the world may feel shocking and hit you in a way that is a little bit deeper than with most people. But either way, it's like really heightening your perceptions. It's asking you to face this fear, the shocking thing, the unexpected thing that's, rattling kind of places in your environment. And equally, this card talks about how shock can be equally about something that's a little bit traumatic, like losing a job, or, like right now the world, I'm recording this like 3 weeks before it's going up, so who knows what will happen. But currently, like the war in Ukraine or Yemen, it's something's feeling very shocking and surprising, and really having you facing new fears or facing certain fears in new ways with a heightened perception. And but equally, this could be victories that were unexpected. So shock can be based on something that brings up fear, or based on something victorious that also might bring up fear. And either way, it's facing that and letting your instincts kick in and letting yourself see all the things you didn't realize you knew that were instinctual, that are in your DNA, or that you've learned but just sort of never had to use, that all of a sudden are being pulled out of you, which can be an amazing thing to witness. Like, you see people witness an accident or being a bystander with something and like have never been in that situation, and they just like instinctively know what to do and are a hero suddenly. It's like something, it can be, beautiful or difficult. And I think it's going to span the spectrum here in this reading. For some of you, it might be victories, and for some it might be traumas. But either way, I think no matter what the circumstances, you guys are going to recognize and witness instincts in you that you've never used, that you didn't know that you possessed. So that in itself is really fascinating and interesting. Okay, so we're going to look at also an animal card to pull as your kind of representative of your attitude. If you were to look back on April being like, this is the way I felt, or the energy I had in relation to this environment card. So seeing how these might work together and how to best work them together. Lizard, okay. And lizards they're very, very sensitive, and they have very heightened perceptions. So this is just confirming to me that whatever happens does absolutely heighten your perceptions and awareness, and a little bit of not fidgeting, what's the word I'm trying to think of, or just like scampering energy, like really, really on alert, like really on alert for when you need to move, when like lizards can feel things coming before they come. They also have the potential to dream things into reality, at least the interpretation in this deck. So whatever this shocking thing coming through is, it's ultimately, even though it's heightening your perceptions and maybe some fear, it's also igniting dreams within you, new kinds of dreams, new ways of I don't know, it's plugging you into a new dream that you're really viscerally involved with, and like feeling the synchronicities and feeling those dreams in like a really heightened way starting to materialize over the month. So I don't know, I'm interested to see how this turns out. Okay, so from here, we're going to look at the 4 cardinal directions of life as I see them. So first we'll look at self, and then we'll look down at home and family, and then at relationships, and then at career or position in the world, kind of get a snapshot of what's going on, energy around these things, and keeping these out so we can always reference and see how these are influencing all of these areas. And in some of these, there's been because I use confirmation cards from another deck, and there's been a lot of same cards being pulled out, either within one area or across areas, and it's really been showing like a tie-in to how one area affects the other area a lot. But we'll see what happens here. Page of Wands, beautiful. Yeah, that lizard definitely has Page of Wands energy, some new creative drive, kind of a new idea, message. Wow, yeah, Tower, yep. Something is dissolving. And 10 of Pentacles, that's beautiful. Okay, so in this self category, this is sort of like, these cards are representing where your passion and drive is, how you're finding your center, your sense of identity. So something, it's like a new inspiration has come through for you, a new kind of spark, a new drive. It's like maybe a message has come through, information, movement, something has stimulated you to have like a new spark, a new sense of drive that's really coming through, but you're needing to allow something about who you are to shed, and to eliminate anything that feels like it's bogging you down, that's no longer you, that's no longer feeling organized, anything that feels chaotic, anything that naturally, organically is trying to leave about who you think you are, what you have, where your drive has been previously. I think it may shock you. I think it might surprise you. Like, you may not even realize things within you that have changed until certain shocks come through and you have to react in a certain way and see like, oh, I had aspired to do or be this certain way, or this is the thing that's always driven me, but something else all of a sudden is there and that's gone. That old thing is gone. That's the feeling I'm getting here, and it's leading you to a sense of knowing how to these new things that are driving you, this new way of starting to see yourself, is all leading towards you being able to materially create more flow and abundance in your life and more organization. So this is like a huge end of a cycle around your sense of self, is that like something is collapsing because a whole new system of self is coming through that is really holistic and alive and communicative and connective and instinctive and refined, actually, to be honest. So yeah, that's really exciting. Just, try to keep an open mind about things leaving. It's always hard to let go of certain things, but anything that's leaving naturally, this isn't saying that you need to blow your life up. This is a more organic thing to me, and this is more like the lightning and the tower couldn't be more aligned. Like the things that need to go, you don't need to do anything about that. They're gonna go. If you already feel something needs to go, like go ahead and be assertive about that, but which could help the process and eliminate some lightning shocks. But I think organically some things are just ready to go, and some things you may not realize that are ready to go, and things are going to happen with or without you on board to take them out of your life. And just keep an open mind that anything that goes is going because something much more fulfilling is repatterning for you. Doesn't mean you can't grieve things, of course, but just keep an open mind that maybe a much more beautiful alignment is coming through for you. Yeah, Queen of Swords, stepping into a bigger role. Lovers, really connecting to some sense of identity that is so much more alive and aligned, and finally where you're able to connect your internal frictions, your yin and yang side, wherever those are arguing, wherever internal factions are arguing within you, this new thing coming through, the new dream you're dreaming, the new shock of who you actually have become without realizing it, is aligning you in such a more beautiful way and easily. It's exciting. Queen of Pentacles. You have a Queen of Swords and a Queen of Pentacles. This is huge, you guys. Like this new spark and what's kind of leaving, what it's showing you, this new identity, this new drive, this new passion that has grown underneath you without you totally, on some level, I think you've known, but I think is still going to surprise you. Just like in spring, it's always shocking to see like overnight a daffodil grow from nothing, from being underground, to within a few days a fully formed flower, as that kind of thing is going to happen really quickly in April. You are stepping so quickly into queen power in dynamic ways in multiple levels of knowing your value and knowing how to nurture and with a regalness and absolute sense of self-worth, your authority, as well as bringing forward your mental command as sort of an intuitive, fruitful nurturance force, like queen energy on mind and on material. You're You're stepping up to the plate and you're knowing your place as something much bigger than you've ever been. And I don't think you knew. I don't think you knew you were a double queen. That's what I'm calling it, a double queen. I don't think you knew you were a double queen. I think you thought you were a page. I think you thought you just were like the behind the scenes, kind of moving information around. Saw yourself as like the intern or something, but nope, you're a double queen. That's what's happening. So I think in terms of self, whatever feels shocking, whether that's feeling like a victory or feeling traumatic, it's revealing new instincts in you that are like all of a sudden going to be there, and there's no way to get rid of them once you've seen them. All right. Okay. Let's move on to home, family, depth, soul, whatever kind of nurtures the soul and deepens your life and stabilizes your life. A lot of times we just say home and family, but I think it contains so much more than that. Ace of Cups. Look at this new energy, you guys. Hanged Man. Okay. And the Hermit. Okay. I am going to read the Hanged Man in a particular way in this, just because of what we saw with self. Yes, I think whatever's coming through that tower from the self-center area is tipping you upside down a bit, but that's a positive thing. I think it's making you see and perceive things in a much more magical, different, ethereal way. Look at all these jellyfish here in the moon. You're seeing things in a very different way. You're finding, this is the thing, like you're finding a dream down in soul territory, a dream that's so aligned to your sense of soul and depth and maturity. That's fantastical. You are bringing imagination up. You are finding the core of your depths and the expansiveness. I don't want to say expansive, like the cosmic connection. Like you have a cosmic connection that is always keeping you, your heart full, that you have endless access to a fantasy realm, to a dream realm, and it is communicating so much to you about where your soul actually wants you to mature, where your soul actually wants you to stabilize and deepen and grow from. It feels very imaginal to me. It feels very fantastical to me. You guys are dreaming a big dream that is like sharing dreams or sharing fantasy or sharing, but something just like so new and overflowing that's always going to this new orientation is just always going to keep something filled with the imaginal and dreams that you can share, that's really going to create some stability and maturity and foundations in your life. And it's very personal stuff that you're tapping into. This isn't stuff you can learn from a teacher, from school, from a mentor, from others. These are your own practices and instincts that create this. This is specifically something that you cultivate through your particular rhythms and patterns that no one else has, so no one else can teach you. And so you just like really need to trust your own instincts in this. And by doing that, by allowing yourself to have your perceptions kind of turned upside down and finding the magic in it and like really trusting your instincts, creating personal space in your home is going to be really important. These dreams are going to create such a fertile fertile soils in your life where you feel held and you feel nurtured and you're able to nurture and you're able to give nurturance endlessly. And I think you just need to, make something about your home where you have space to do your own practices, to be by yourself, to do whatever it is you do. But it's like finding an instinct around the imaginal and fantasy and dreams and something that can be endlessly shared and that will create really solid foundation for your life. Okay, let's look at, so something shocking that turns your perceptions upside down. It's connecting you to something really fertile and stable for you guys, actually. In that upside downness, you're somehow very stable. 5 of Pentacles. Okay. Ten of Swords. And the Hierophant. Okay, so I think you've, in terms of this soul territory or foundations, I think you've been holding a lot of anxiety and a lot of scarcity. At the same time, I think that all of that you've gone through, that's maybe been the thing that's turned your perceptions upside down, you've had to go through in order to claim the Hanged Man as something very positive in your life, and to claim, to own your hermitness and tend to your hermit quality of instinctual creativity. I think that you've had to go through some mental pressure, some mental stress, but I think it's also rewired. Talking about going back to that self category where it's like all of a sudden like a new you appears that you didn't totally realize was happening. I think you've really rewired. You've been in some intense nurturing your mind in a certain way, but under a lot of stress. And it sort of rewired you from feeling a certain scarcity in your foundations. But in that scarcity, you've developed really beautiful values that aren't as materially centered. You've developed some values in this cosmic terrain, and you've rewired your brain under some pressure, and you're coming out. I kind of like these showing sort of the result of all of this is like with just a creative instinct that is so pure and specific and rhythmic to you, with what appears to be really wise traditional wisdom and knowledge and leadership. But what people don't realize is so much of what they're seeing, even though it seems sort of polished from training and from traditions, is things you've pulled out of just you, of your own patterns, maybe that were lost through history. Maybe you've like picked up things in your DNA and past lives. You've really spent enough time going inward and into your depths to pull things out that are coming off as traditional, but they're things you've found on your own, kind of deal. But this is suddenly creating a huge generative, fertile foundation for you, having gone through some of these hardships and being turned on your head, and suddenly you're just coming into a very wise, established ability to create your foundations and to mature things in your life, and feeling all of a sudden like certain things that maybe felt overly dreamy or imaginal or fantastical are suddenly like really established and really stepping up for you as something that is solid and respected. So yeah, super cool. Loving this lizard dream energy coming through. I wasn't sure how much it would come through, but it's really, really going there. Okay, let's look at relationships. And in this, the way I view it in this structure, this can be love relationships. This can be any strong one-on-one relationship that can be from any domain of your life, family, friends, business, people, peers. Yeah, so partners, any one-on-one relationship, and it can be advocates, so like lawyers or real estate agents, that type of thing. Or it can be more generally like how you attune and harmonize, so your sense of aesthetic and design, that kind of stuff too. Okay. Wow, some Leo stuff showing up here. Okay. Oh, I love some of these. I haven't looked, I've used these cards a little bit, but I haven't spent a lot of time looking at the images. Yeah, beautiful. There's like dahlias and morning glory and yeah, okay. Something is really, to me so far, we'll see what the confirmation cards say. So hopefully I don't speak too soon, but this feels like the least shocking of the two so far. Like, I think something you've worked really hard at is in the relation territory is coming into a sense of fulfillment and wholeness and ready to, feel its strength, hence take on more. So this is a very established energy coming through, not shocking, like you've built towards this, so you're expecting it or hoping for it. And it's coming through in April, like something in the relationship domain for you, whichever, you know, talking about all the different possibilities, whatever that feels like to you, maybe your aesthetic style is really coming into its own. A love relationship is really coming into a solid place. Other relationships are, whatever it is, like something you've worked really, really hard on is coming into a certain wholeness, hence ready to incubate a new cycle as well. And that new cycle is coming in with some deep Leo energy, new strength, new command, new willingness to put yourself out there and to fight for what's yours and to be seen and witnessed and lead and perform and have a presence. So a new presence, I think, is being incubated based on, in terms of, and you know, connecting this actually more, a little bit more to a relationship vibe. It's just like a bigger willingness to wear your heart on your sleeve and fight for loved ones and be exciting with loved ones, with relationships. If it's more of like a work relationship or a business relationship, like your willingness to step into a leadership position in a partnership. But something's really establishing here for you in the relational domain, and it's allowing you to like incubate a new dream, a new seed, a new dream, and it's really stepping into your power, either aesthetically within a partnership, which could be business, wearing your heart more on your sleeve with love, bringing in a deeper love. But yeah, whatever you want to dream, I think dream here. You're ready to incubate seeds that are more exciting, more vital, more alive, more courageous, more valiant. Okay, let's see what the confirmation cards say. Wow, 5 of Wands again. Yeah. Both right next to the World. Like, you're solidifying, I think, something very established about your command, but you're also incubating a new level up in your command in terms of how you relate, how you harmonize and attune in the world. Knight of Cups, beautiful. Poetry. This is poetry energy. And then the Hermit, again, you guys have huge Hermit energy. Could be a dreamer, you know. Yeah, you need to stay true to you in so many ways. This is like, April's really bringing through messages of like, trust your instincts, build your instincts, build your rhythms because you feel them, not because someone's told you to or taught you to. Like, really understand through the purity of your own process without any other that's what, you know, the Hermit is very Virgoan energy, very purity centered in the way of like, it's not going to contaminate its wholeness with information from anything else. It's going to go deep within and find it for itself, untainted by any other overlays, you know. So there's something about relationship and your sense of command and valor and aliveness within harmonizing that is very pure and distinct to your own patterns, but more than anything, that's just like, that has such a holistic, organic, pure nature about it. And I think people are very drawn to that. And maybe a little bit competitive about it, actually. But no one can really touch it because this is like, no one can steal this from you. It's all purely you. But people may, I'm getting more in a business sense, people may try to kind of like take on your originality because it's so distinct and try and claim it for themselves. But nah, you got it. They can't, because it's not them. They didn't build it. They don't know how to be solid with it. Only you do. So no one can actually take it, even if they try for a minute. I think that's what that saying is like. You need to be cautious about who you partner with, because people might try to mirror and take on and steal your ability with attunement and your own unique patterns there. So it's because the Hermit is so pure, it can feel that energy very quickly. So like, really tune into that and listen to that. If that comes through for you, you need to cut that out of your life, you know, these relationships. But the people that support you, that have battled with you and that lift you up and see this about you, those are the ones to really allow yourself to get close to, because they want to help you soar, they want to help you blossom, they want to help your uniqueness shine the way it should. And they will fight with you and for you. That's who you want. This is what that saying is like. You have something super original, and you need to find the people who, and I think that's what's incubating here, is you're kind of moving out of a cycle of people trying to absorb that from you and claim it as their own, versus people who are going to see that in you and fight for you to shine with it. I think you're transitioning there, of recognizing that pattern and altering it. Yeah, that's really beautiful. And then this Knight of Cups, you have it's like a poetic gift you've got. It's a an optimism, an expansion, wearing your heart on your sleeve. Yeah, just the ability to express yourself with just enchantment and dreaminess, and yeah, something just like really beautiful. So yeah, that's where we are at. So you're really coming into your own, recognizing your credibility, your solidity in the relational territory, in the attunement harmonizing territory, and starting to incubate new ways of making that even greater, and recognizing certain patterns that need to be altered to better lift you up and help you shine, and the relationships that can do that, that specifically around your poetic ability. That's sort of, to me, like a harmonic quality. Yeah, where you can use your voice and your design sense and your ability to love and create and work with others and partner with others in such a distinct, original to you way. Yeah, you're seeing your solidity there, and what's yours and what's people are trying to take that's yours, and how to move forward to just really helping that be lifted up and shone a light on. So I don't know, some of that may have come across as like slightly narcissistic, like you're the star of the relationship domain, whoever you're in relationship with, but those benefits can go both ways. Someone lifting you up to shine is going to have their own benefits and help them shine in their own way too. So it's not, hopefully that didn't come across that way of like you're the more important. That's not what I was saying in a relationship, but you do have a harmonizing style that is worthy of shining, and there are people, you're going to start to recognize the patterns of the people who want to still that versus lift it up, and it will benefit them as well. So okay, this is career-ish territory, position in the world, responsibilities, duties currently on your shoulders in April. You got so much queen energy coming through. This is like a whole new identity coming through. You're stepping in as a queen. This is now the Queen of Wands. An Eight of Wands. Something's happening really fast. This is in your career-ish territory. You've got that lightning coming through too. Something's taking place very quickly, and it's showing the grandness of your imagination, of your dreams, of your ability to compose in a way. A love of being able to step into something complex and orchestrate with like coherent narrative in a way, and you're really stepping into your creative command in this, and something very is happening very quickly around it. You're really man, this whole reading, whatever shocks are happening, yes, you can, of course, feel away and whatever. It's okay to hold multiple emotions, but you need to keep an open mind about the benefits and the opportunities this might be bringing. And I feel like more than anything, these are victorious shocks of like, maybe you've had certain dreams and you think you're going to like tiptoe into them or start testing it, and all of a sudden people are like, whoa, look at this, and all of a sudden you're like viral or whatever it is for you, published, found an agent, got this new job that's huge that you thought might take 10 years to reach. Whatever it is, there's something just like shockingly it's shocking how the world is going to recognize something about you that is more established than you had any idea it was. And it's really big. It's this Nine of Cups. It's really big. It's happening fast. It's big. And you're stepping in as, this regal nurturer of passion, this regal initiator of the creative, of shining, of passion. And yeah, so beautiful. Congratulations, you guys. I really think this, for most of you, will be really exciting. An exciting shock. A shocking, exciting shock. I think you're going to be in disbelief. Like, wait, what? What has happened here? Wheel of Fortune, yeah. Dang, you guys. Two of Cups. Three of Swords. Okay. This has been built. What you need to recognize here is underneath this new thing coming up, this has been built on a lot of disappointment in your past. But every disappointment you've had, you've gained a new maturity, and you've gained a stronger alignment with your soul and your intuition and what feels aligned to you deep within. And so what's coming out now will not lead to certain disappointments you've had in the past, because it's a much more wise, thought through, more soulfully aligned thing that you're building on. And it's starting a whole new cycle. A change in the wind, a change of season is taking place in your standing in the world, your responsibilities, who you are, what kind of position or credibility or mastery you've built. You're coming into a whole new cycle with it that's much more wise and deep than anything you've done before, and so much more aligned to your depth and your soul. Beautiful, you guys. I was a little nervous where this shock card was going to go, and I'm not going to say that certain shocks may appear difficult at first, but I think underneath, whether these shocks or shock, I don't know if it'll be one or multiple, whether they appear on the onset as victorious shocks or traumatic ones, or just shocking in general, neutral but shocking. Whatever it is, it's that heightened perception that it's bringing that's helping that lizard energy come into you, is kicking your instincts that you've not used out of probably fear of owning them up to your surface. And once you see them, you have to own them, and they'll just be there forever now. And it's queen energy. It's shocking your queen up to the surface that you've just sat on or not allowed out or didn't know was there or were scared to let out. But it's going to come up in some instant, because she's shown up so many times. And you're going to see the queen that you are, and there's no choice but to step into that, because not only did you see it, but other people did. And there you go. That's just it. You're turning into the queen this month. All right. This is where I'm going to leave you guys. I hope this was helpful and useful. And I always love hearing in the comments how it connected for you. I always love a simple thumbs up, and obviously I love it when you subscribe so you see more of my readings. All right, I will see you guys in another reading. Hello, pile 4, my revolution pile of April. I feel like you guys are in for a very interesting month just based on revolution, and it feels like, I mean, when I'm recording this, which is like not even mid-March, I did it very early because I'm heading out of town for a while. Revolution feels like it's in the air in so many ways. So yeah, we'll see where this goes. I'm actually going to read the description. This is the only card I'm doing this for from the book, because there's so much that felt important to say that the book brought up about this, that I know that I would probably miss a lot of it if I just riffed on my own. So before I read the book for this card, my intention about this card, so lake above, fire below, so basically water over fire. My intention in this reading for this card is to show the environment, the main thread around your environment for the month of April. So if you were to look back on April and say it's like the circumstances, the events, the environment of the month generally felt this certain way. And so it would be this card. Okay, so the book says, the elements of this hexagram are fire under water. Fire evaporates water, and water puts out fire. Similarly, change often causes conflict, and conflict brings about change. This hexagram refers to a time in the cycle of human affairs when things are stirring up and the hint of dramatic change is in the air. In order to succeed, a revolution must be in alignment with the laws of nature and good timing. It must begin at the right moment, gather support from a broad base of people, be guided by sincere and capable leaders, and, most important of all, address a real need. The strength of the forces of change will always be in proportion to the urgency of the need being championed. This is true whether the revolution is in government, business, education, or your own personal affairs. Revolutionary change ushers in a period when chaos arises from order. Let's remember that not all order is good and not all chaos is bad. Chaos is often an integral part of the way things evolve, as any parent or evolutionary science will confirm. This hexagram reminds us to have the courage to radically change and renew the way we bring ourselves to life. In this way, you can channel chaos to your cause and unleash a new power on behalf of the good. If engaging in a negotiation, change the rules. If composing a piece of music, add the unexpected. If courting a lover, dare to be unconventional. Combat between forces of dark and light are cyclical. As such, one can become aware of these cycles and master them through preparation. In periods of drought, even wild storms are preferable to just another sunny day. A new season awaits. Yeah, so there's a lot packed into that. Generally, to me, it has that feeling of like when a cycle, or a certain order of things is no longer, it's become too rigid and brittle, and it's just the new light from within is sort of cracking it open. Revolting, liberating, expressing itself in ways that a certain container can no longer hold. So that's the feeling I'm getting. We definitely are seeing so much of this in the world. So we all are experiencing this to a degree. So for you, it's either hitting home very personally, or there's something more personal in your life mirroring this kind of revolution type thing where it said like, yeah, like maybe you're throw things in a contract that shake up how contracts have typically been ordered around you, or have a different approach to love, or, you know, like it might be a little bit more personal like that, but it could be you taking on a more worldly role in revolutions kind of coming up around in April. Who knows? It could be there's probably a whole spectrum of people here that are going to align in very different ways to the term revolution. Okay, so general environment, circumstances, events, environment. We're going to pull also, actually I'm not going to put that there yet, an animal card to show more where you're coming from. If you were to look back at April and say, yeah, my attitude, my mood, my perceptions felt this way, but also this animal will indicate like what animal guide is coming in for you as well. Hyena. This is really interesting. Like, I think you're like playing the devil's advocate a little, I think, with these shakeups, flipping the way people see things just to illuminate things that have gotten backwards, if that makes sense, I hope. But also using a little bit of a mask of humor to deal with certain things that feel difficult. But to me, this is, you can Google this term, Hayoka. I'm feeling like that's what this is. And the Hayoka is this energy that's an archetype that, yeah, that like really turns everything on its head to see it differently and to provoke purposefully others and to just shake up how anyone's thinking and how systems are, you know, like it could be to how you're thinking, to how another's thinking, to how a group's thinking, to how a whole society is thinking. But it's this ability to, and I think in general comics have such a connection to this type of energy of like really being able to illuminate the absurd by showcasing certain circumstances in like an upside down way. Yeah, so it's like maybe you're being really effective this month in seeing the absurdity of certain things and being able to illuminate them to help people get on the side of like, it's time to change the order. It's time to let some chaos in order for the old order to be put to rest and to let a new order congeal and compose type of thing. All right. Okay, so from here, we are going to look at what I call the 4 cardinal directions of life, which is about self, home and family, relationships, career. So starting with self, to me, this has a lot to do with like where your drive and your passion is, how you're connecting to your sense of identity, how you're just feeling centered and clear and so able to sort of like move forward and motivate in life. So 8 of Pentacles, Ace of Pentacles, very material connection to drive right now. New values though with that. Yeah, okay. I think you're starting to see a certain skill come into its own and feeling very sure about a skill that you've practiced really hard at and you've put a lot of work into, and seeing a way, kind of riffing off of the hyena and revolution, seeing a way to use that skill to plant seeds of different values, of new ways of seeing and valuing whatever it is, of valuing you, of valuing others, of valuing a group, of valuing society, of values in the world in general. But I think like, yeah, like a very honed skill is becoming clear in you of like how to use it to really shake up people's values. And it is electrifying the group, and it is showing where stormy waters are and where calmer waters could be, and like how to move from one way of being to a better way of being. Whether this is on, I mean, definitely it's on a personal plane, your own drive, but you may feel very driven also to illuminate this. That might be what is really driving your motor this month, is this either want to do this for yourself or up to the plane of for the world. But really kind of, yeah, using a skill to illuminate a new way of thinking of values, a new type of value, and how it can sort of give a new hope for a different future. Okay, let's look at some confirmation cards. The Empress, beautiful. The Moon upside down, okay. The Magician. Wow, 3 major arcana. So this is a really big part of your month. Just like your whatever is driving you and igniting you and motivating is a very big part of April for you. Something's really coming alive here. It's very fertile, and you're able to make this feel beautiful, hence that attraction. This isn't like, let's burn everything down. This is giving a vision for what could be the future. And it's a very fertile vision, and using your skills in a very beautifying way. And I think that you've been contemplating this for a long time, and there's been a lot of confusion and unsurety of like, how to do this, but you've been seeking, you've been letting it all kind of seep in, and that the confusion around here is finally clearing up this month, and you're going to find new clarity, but also a new, your motivation, your drive knows now with surety what resources you need in order to use this new passion and drive within you, and recognizing that you have the resources you need, and you have the willingness and the passion to use those resources and create something and really inspire. Yeah, so really beautiful. I love this sense of self that's coming through for April. And I love that it's not just this like, let's burn it down, which, you know, is an energy sometimes needed, but more looking towards what could be, what beauty there could be in the world. So I love seeing that come through with this very revolutionary tone of your month. Okay. We've got this candle encroaching. Okay, so the next one we're looking at is the depth of your life. So how to align with your soul, what kind of self-care you need, how home and family are feeling for you, what you're needing to nurture, what you're trying to mature and stabilize in your life. 5 of Cups, okay. Take these 2. 4 of Pentacles. Page of Pentacles. So much earth stuff coming out for you guys. I don't know if you're earthy people or just really concerned in general about the materials and tangible aspect of life in this revolutionary energy. Anyway, beyond that, in home, there's definitely been some disappointment felt, but also, to me, I have some other ways of looking at Five of Cups that isn't like completely traditional. I think you might be doing a lot of work with ancestors to understand, for some of you, maybe not all of you. For some, there's maybe been some disappointments in home, and for others of you, you're doing a lot of ancestral work to kind of see, instead of looking at what's on the surface, you're looking at the baggage of your history down in the roots of your life, in order to know what needs to be uprooted, what needs to be put into revolutionary energy. You're really trying to find a deeper sense of wisdom around how you're viewing chaos and order right now, which is a really mature thing to do. Others of you may have just had some home disappointments that are just adding a little bit of fuel to the fire of like being let down in general by the state of the world, maybe affected by the state of the world in your foundations too, in some way. Yeah, because I'm seeing with this Four of Pentacles next to the Five of Cups, it's like your stability has really been affected by what you consider and perceive to be certain states of the world. But seeing where that passion is coming through with that first, the self area, I really think a lot of you, and maybe this could be a call to action for those of you that wouldn't necessarily typically consider this, but like doing some ancestral research or work or however you connect to history, to really get a much more wise understanding of how things started on a certain trajectory that have led to the current disappointment, and what about that history is illuminating what was stable versus what was selfish versus what needs illumination and values. But like doing a lot of value work to see where the stability of values were in this cycle of leading to where this moment in history is sorry, finding my words. Yeah, what was unstable versus stable, and so how to responsibly kind of uproot and revolutionize certain ways, certain things about what stability means in the world, what nurturance means in the world. And Page of Pentacles, similar to that Ace of Pentacles and that sense of self, it's like really new information is circulating around you, new ways of seeing value, of communicating value, of spreading value that has a lot to do with how you feel safe, how you feel secure, how you feel nurtured and stable and supported in the world. Oh, this is the first time I think my candle fully burned to the very end of its life. Okay, well, there you go, revolution. That's kind of symbolic to me. snuffing out the old value to bring in and circulate a new value about stability, about security in life. And I mean, if we're going to take it to a broad societal or even global level of like, they're just basic things people deserve, or basic ways we can make life more stable for people. Ooh, okay, so yeah, okay. This 10 of Cups upside down, to me, that's leading into sort of a Ace or Two of Wands. It's like what would come right before Ace or Two of Wands in terms of how the tarot cards match the zodiac or align with different zodiac signs. And this is the end of a Pisces. So in the zodiac, in Western astrology or tropical astrology, the end of a cycle is the ending degree of Pisces, and that's what this is. And that's where we kind of let go of an old order and allow chaos. And so there's something that, yeah, exactly. That's what I felt. It's like you're looking into history, I think, and ancestral wisdom, and gaining some emotional insight around things we need to understand about the current chaos in terms of stability in life, whether that's personally for you or more of a collective thing. Yeah, and again, this is also another Piscean card, like walking away from an old order, walking away from an old, from old values that used to be considered very stable. They just no longer are. They're no longer aligned to where people are thinking and going and how we're connected. And definitely like a lot of emotional information is being circulated around values, around you, and you can see to the depth of this information. You can see to the soul and the stability of certain information, and have a really wise way of illuminating new ideas with responsibility, because you can kind of see into an intuitive way, but also in a researched way, what new values, what new information around different kinds of values means on an emotional level, on a level of protection and stability and security. Yeah, this feels like more collective, like you're doing a lot of collective work around home and like issues of home and family and land and stability and security in the world. For some of you, it might be a little bit more personal, but I feel like a lot of you are doing more collective thinking around this. Okay, let's look at relationships. And in this context, it can be, love relationships. It can be any one-on-one relationship that's important in your life. It can be advocates such as lawyers or real estate agents, and it can be simply your sense of harmonizing and attunement. So aesthetics, design, yeah, that kind of stuff. Okay. Ten of Swords, Four of Cups, Three of Wands. Okay, so starting out the month, you're going to end the month on a very different tone, but starting out the month, I think you're feeling a lot of not quite confusion, just like a lot of pressure and a lot of overwhelming thoughts, like too many thoughts, a lot of pressure in general around probably a specific relationship that's giving you some anxiety. And I think you're going to kind of retreat a bit from relationships to kind of calm your thoughts, to calm your emotions, to calm your thoughts, to process this, to settle some of this. Like you're coming almost to like a tipping point of just like really needing to step back from a relationship in order to gain some clarity about it, because it's just been something about it has just really overloaded your mind, and you just need to settle your emotions as well around it. But by the end of the month, I think whether it's about, to me it feels like a specific relationship is being brought up here. So whether it's about the relationship you had to step back from or about a new one coming in, you're going to find a new alignment and passion by the end of April that feels, whether that's just even you feeling your own desires and needs and getting really clear about you within the relationship, or within relationships in general, or this relationship suddenly becoming clear and positive, or a new relationship coming in. Whatever the scenario is, you're going to end April with a much deeper feeling of alignment and considering what you need within relationships and calling in what you need. And so hence feeling like really alive and passionate about connection, because you have a deeper knowing of your needs within it and how to express those and how to get those needs met. Okay, let's look at confirmation cards. Okay. I think for some of you, there might be a bit of a breakup heading your way. For others, you're just like really reconsidering the foundations of a relationship. So it doesn't mean that an end is coming. For those who are single, maybe you've just been toiling a lot with kind of a lot of thoughts about relationships and what you want, and really needing, in terms of this revolution energy coming through, whether you're single, with someone, breaking up, you are turning the foundations of what you've always considered to be in your old modeling happy relationships. You're turning it on its head and rejecting it now in order to meditate, find some new way and new ideas around this, and find new alignment that's more harmonious to what you deserve, what you need, being considered part of a relationship as an equal versus as the supporter or something. Like, I feel like some of you have just been doormats in a way, or if not that, just like not valued the way you could and should be valued within the relationships you've had. So yeah, you're just like really thinking this through, reconsidering it, shifting your energy, flipping it on its head, and you're really finding people who feel, whether it's family members or friends who feel like family, you're getting a lot of support there, and maybe some different modeling and reflection back to you of like certain patterns maybe you haven't been aware of, and it's helping you to see more clearly. I think this for you, you're going through like a very personal revolution about what relationships are. But by the end of April, I think you're gaining a new sense of clarity about your needs in relationships, and releasing old ways of feeling like the immature one or something in relationships, or the overlooked one, or the one that's just like not, it's just like not been, you've allowed other people to put you on a lower level or something, and you're just like, no, I think we're done with that. I don't know where that pattern came from, but you're starting to see it, hence maybe where it came from, but you're releasing it, and you're really stepping into this thing of like, my needs, my alignments, what I want deserve just as much attention and energy as the others want, the other person's, agendas and wants and needs, Yeah, so good for you. Really kind of, to me, I just felt like very angry. I think you're getting angry and just like, yeah, I'm done with this. I don't know, like, I think on some level you thought that was like a positive role to play, to always put the other person way, 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 way in the forefront. And I think you're finally getting it, like, no. Okay, so, this is about career, standing in the world, duties, responsibilities on your plate. You've had a lot of royalty showing through, which just indicates like a lot of people. You're gonna have a lot of interaction, I think, with people this month. Okay. Yeah, so Page of Swords and King of Swords, immediately like you're having new ideas and you're stepping into, I don't know if you're even stepping into, I think you may already be in a position of sort of command or knowing your authority in your mental sharpness and your mental ability to administer with ideas and provide through ideas. Your way of thinking in a professional capacity is very organized and thorough and sharp, and you're having so whether you're newly stepping into this role or have already been already in this role and recognize yourself in this role, new ideas are coming to you, new thoughts, and these thoughts have the potential to bring some victorious things your way, to bring the spotlight your way if you want it. But like eagle-eyed, you have Hawkeye and Eagle-Eye right now. You're really, I like this, interesting, this butterfly on the sword here. And you've got an owl as well. So bringing ideas from the unseen to the seen is what's happening. And you have a way of doing this with sharpness, but gentleness, that could bring you a lot of recognition if you desire it. So new ideas that come up to you from seemingly apparently nowhere, like kick in that ability to organize those thoughts and administer those thoughts, because they can really bring you some recognition. Star upside down, High Priestess, Knight of Swords. So you've got Page, King, and Knight of Swords here. You are totally an intellectual, aren't you? Okay, so this is interesting. Typically the star upside down I would read as like having lost some hope. But here I think it's like pulling a sense of hope, a sense of that new future that that self house had such connection to. You're, like I said, like you're pulling this new idea out of seemingly nowhere. You're pulling a new hope that no one's thought of, that no one's seen yet. You're pulling a whole new kind of concept that has the potential to really spark a new kind of hope in people in a very public, beautiful way. And it's because you're so connected with this king and the high priestess underneath it. Intuitively, you have such command. It's not just logical and reasoned command of the mind, but you have an intuitive command of the mind, which shows that you have a lot of both restraint but also willingness to speak up about things that no one's really speaking up about, but in a way that's really clear and deep, like linear and understandable, digestible. You know how to make it connect with people. And then this Knight of Swords with the Six of Wands, it's just like this whatever this is has the potential to be an expansive victory, not just a victory in whatever I feel victory because I accomplished something, or I got Employee of the Month somewhere. This is like bigger. This is like victory, word traveling of your victory, like a much broader audience than you're used to. So whoever you are, if you're used to a big audience, it's going to be bigger. If you're used to a smaller audience or working with smaller groups, it'll be bigger. Whatever you're used to, it will be bigger than that. So for some of you, it could be massive. For some, just much bigger victory and recognition than you are used to getting. But really be bold with it. I think you know that because you've got this king that knows what to do. Foundationally held up by the high priestess. It's beautiful. So pull things from the unseen, circulate them, be masterful about how you do it through things that you feel a command of, that you feel like you are an authority of. Don't just put stuff out there that you're regurgitating or that are like whimsical. Like, do your due diligence, know that you have credibility in what you're saying. I think that would be a thing the king would want you to know, but you are the king in this scenario, so I think you naturally know that and would do it. So okay, so this is your reading for April. I think it's really exciting. Some big things coming through. So this is where I'm going to leave you guys. If you liked the reading, I always love a thumbs up. Even more so, I love hearing in the comments how this works for you, how you interpret it. With these pick a pile readings, it's such a broad audience. So like if 10 people commented on there, if every 10 different people who chose pile 4 commented, it's fun to see how this energy manifests or is interpreted so differently, but still in the same vein. Anyway, I'm ripping on things that are just whatever. And definitely if you haven't subscribed yet, I always love that, so you get more of my readings. But that is where I will leave you guys. All right, happy April.